Also suspicious is the fact that Black Lives Matter designated a whopping $8 million to an out-of-country grant. What? I thought this charity was about addressing police brutality in the United States. Apparently, to do that, you need to send $8 million to Toronto, Canada, to an organization named M4BJ.
So in other words, ladies and gentlemen, all that money that you sent to BLM, it didn't go to help much of the people in BLM. You just made a bunch of people more richer that have totally different ideology compared to yourself. Kind of messed up.
They purchased a $6.3 million, 10,000 square foot downtown property in Toronto. And I should also mention that M4BJ is run by Patrice's wife, Janaya Khan, because it is. She is the co-founder, believe it or not. And here's where it gets really interesting. Janaya Khan is gender non-conforming. These terms can be quite sensitive, so let me just use photos to illustrate my point. Janaya used to look like this, and now she looks like this. Now that information would be entirely irrelevant if it wasn't for the way that Patrisse Cullors saw it fit to spend the rest of Black Lives Matter's money. Ready for some BLM pride? Well, according to their
I thought it was kind of weird when people say Black Lives Matter. You just hear in the background, and the trans black people too. And I'm like, yes, we can help everybody. But the point here, we're talking about people getting arrested. As if we don't include the lives of black people. You need to make a point. When you make a point where we're talking about lives, it makes me think you want to push that a little more. Guess what's going to happen?
IRS form, $200,000 went to the Transgender Justice Funding Project. Another $200,000 went to the Transgender United Fund. Another $200,000 went to the Transgender
It doesn't
Law
stop.
Center. Another $200,000 went to Black Transgendered Media. Another $200,000 went to the Transgendered Variant.
This is not a laugh because I'm laughing at this. It's just that when I get nervous, I find it rather ironic. And the more I laugh at the situation that I consider it horrible, in private of course, I would never laugh in your face, it's better for my MS. My MS doesn't get triggered if I troll myself, so do not take it in the wrong way. I'm not laughing at you or anybody or any trans person. I'm just like, wow. Most people were right to not trust BLM. But hey, we try to be empathetic, you know?
And Intersex Justice Project. Another $200K went to the Transgendered District. By the way, if you're wondering what that is purportedly going to be the all transgender district. And I guess that's really, really important for Black America advancement in society, I guess, or whatever. Another $200K went to the St. James Infirmary. That organization, by the way, is for, according to their website, it's run by sex workers and is for them.
I find it rather weird. Why? It's yeah, the smile is going away. It's a coping mechanism. Right now, I don't want to cope anymore because I'm like, we were trying to change the police, how they treat us in a very negative way, and you decided to promote something. You didn't help the people. It's like a trans person usually needs a family to support them. By this knowledge, what you're helping, you're not even helping the family that could help them. Even if they have a place to have fun, if they don't have a family or a community that is consistent, it's trouble. Now you're going to be like, yes, they're going to have a community now. Yes, with taxpayers' money. How can you normalize a help that I have to keep paying? And the family and the poor people that I see Tom Tank getting abused by the cops that you're talking about suddenly are not getting any help. I think that's horrible, bruv. That's so much money. And they bought houses too for themselves.
Specifically, escorts, BDSM workers, strippers, peep show workers, phone sex operators, and webcam performers.
Why do you support a business that is so negative and stigmatized by a society when it doesn't really provide you a community or a family? It's all about like me, like me, like me. What is this? I don't want to live by likes. I don't want anybody to live by that term. And most of these people, I think they do have some mental situation.
it was actually the St. James Infirmary that created the transgendered district. So that's just an organization within another organization, which, by the way, you see a lot of when you go through these documents. So yeah, going to be apparently great big things involving sex workers in the future for Black America. In continuation, the Center for Halstead received $200,000 from Black Lives Matter. They are Chicago's community center dedicated to securing the health and well-being of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, and queer people of Chicago. Similarly, we have the Audrey.
Shouldn't you guys be helping fathers that are not in a family? Don't we need that to stop crime? And you're gonna help put a band-aid with the LGBTQ flag? Why don't prevent the wound? We need to fix the houses.
Lorde Project, which received $200,000, and according to their website, they are a lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender non-conforming people of color community organizing.
Not gonna lie. It's kind of frustrating. It's kind of frustrating. I'm not sure with all these two-spirited. We need fathers. We need consistent fathers. We need good examples. We need shows that promote good fathers. We need that. Nobody is promoting a stable community. It's all about blaming others to help us. I remember back maybe 10 or 20 years ago, we had so many fathers in our houses, we were laughing at white people that couldn't even maintain a relationship. And now click, click, clack. And what did I do to click, click, clack? We're not gonna talk about that, but I know you know what I'm talking about.
Another $400,000 went to Transgender Advocates Knowledgeable Empowering, or TAKE, as it's known for short. The founder of that organization is a transgendered individual by the name of Daronicia Duncan Boyd.
So in other words, nothing is on her name, but it's on the wife's name to remove her accountability or something like that. That is the only thing I can assume. And now it's gone. Wife is donating, bada bing, bam, boom.
So the executive director of the Transgendered United Fund, which I mentioned earlier, which secured $200,000. So a total $600,000 of BLM money went to a transgendered woman named Daronicia Boyd, who is operating two charities. I found that piece to be very interesting. Here is Daronicia describing in a 2020 interview how they were able to use that money that was received to the organization to purchase more real estate.
We're opening up a new resource center here, and the resource center is almost 3 times as big as our last space that we was in. So we have lots of space and lots of rooms for our clients to come in and enjoy.
I noticed that real estate seems to be a common theme amongst these transgendered organizations. Remember, there's the first ever transgender district, and there are also a couple of houses that are named on their IRS documents. For example, an additional $200,000 was given to the House of Tulip. According to their website, the House of Tulip provides zero barrier housing to trans and gender non-conforming people. But the one that really stood out as the most nonsensical is the $200,000 that went to the Griffin Gracie Retreat and Educational Center, known as House of Gigi for short. According to that website, they provide services and resources that positively impact the lives, history, and visibility of transgender, gender questioning, and gender non-conforming persons. They admit that they purchased a property in Little Rock, Arkansas back in 2019, and that property was supposed to serve as an oasis and a retreat for transgendered persons. But they admit, also on the website, that they actually never held such a retreat. First, because their founder had a stroke and was recovering, and then it was COVID-19, so they still couldn't host a retreat. And despite having never hosted a retreat at this amazing oasis
they're gonna
property
use it.
that they purchased, in 2021, they announced that they purchased a second property next door to the first one. So, yeah. Now, all of the organizations that I just mentioned, none of them, not one, is up to date on filing a tax return with the IRS, which is required. for charities, because charities, remember, they don't pay taxes. In other words, I'm not able to tell you how any of these transgendered organizations spent the money that BLM poured into their organizations during the 2020 and 2021 tax year.
Well, what can I say? They can do whatever they want with the money because it's their right. We have treated them so bad. They are almost doing suicide so much that everybody needs to care about it, which I agree. But the fact that they use the money in such a way that we are not allowed to understand what you're going to do, it is as if I have to give you money because somebody didn't have a father, or that father didn't have a father, or that father didn't have a father. Like, nobody wants to fix that. And it's not that I care about men more. It's just a fact, families, the mom gets all the kids. So I do think the moms are very responsible, even if the father was a gangster. I understand. But I also think that fathers need to be way more stable for any society to function. And of all the cultures, we are the ones most gangster talk about baby daddy, baby mama. But all the other cultures, they don't have that. The most consistent immigrant people are actually mommy and papi working together like the traditional ways, and everybody looks at them like, damn, they're crazy. But when you make a comparison with the black people, ooh, it hurts their feeling, right? I'm just surprised they wasted so much money. And they can say, well, COVID hit us, we can't use the houses. I'm like, so I have to wait for you to find a useful use of a house that you're not using, but you're buying a second one? Like, it's not like you're not accountable for maybe a mistake. You made another purchase, which you don't even want to explain what you're using the money for. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk bad about the trans people. But all I'm saying, I would not be surprised people might be thinking the same way or worse. Let me know what you think about this whole situation.